In a bustling senior center in Singapore, you can hear the clatter of Mahjong tiles everywhere. But our story zooms in on one person. She's waiting for her game, and she's not exactly the patient type. And believe me, her story tells us so much more than just how to play a game. It tells the story of an entire nation.
That's the voice of 82-year-old Cynthia Lowe. She's trying to calm down her mother, Madam Lin Geok I. And the reason for her mom's impatience? Well, let's just say she's been waiting a very long time to play this game.
Because Madam Lin is 105 years old. But here's the truly mind-blowing part. She has 0 chronic illnesses, she takes absolutely no medication, and she doesn't even need glasses to spot the characters on those tiny Mahjong tiles.
So, what is going on here? What's the secret to her incredible life? Is it just a lucky roll of the genetic dice, a super fierce, get-it-done attitude, or is her story something much bigger, a reflection of the very country she helped build?
See, to really understand Madam Lin, you have to understand the centuries she's lived through. Her personal story is completely woven into the fabric of modern Singapore. Her life basically maps onto the nation's journey. She was born into the tough life of a British colonial outpost, and that's where she learned to be resilient. She survived the brutal Japanese occupation, which forged this incredible fortitude in her. And then, in the decades that followed, she wasn't just a bystander watching a new nation get built. She was part of it. She helped build it, and she got to see an economic miracle unfold before her very eyes. The values that make her who she is, they're the very same values that built her country.
So, history shaped her mindset, for sure. But what about the day-to-day stuff? The specific daily habits that led to her amazing health? Let's try and deconstruct this medicine-free life of hers.
Okay, so you look at this list and you might be thinking, hey, this looks familiar. It's kind of like a checklist from those famous blue zones, the places where people live exceptionally long lives. But here's the crucial difference. For Madam Lin's generation, this wasn't a wellness trend. It was just life. A plant-based diet of porridge and sweet potato leaves, that came from scarcity, not choice. Natural movement happened because of daily chores, not a pricey gym membership. And strong family ties, well, that was the social security system.
All of this points to a fascinating scientific idea called compression of morbidity. Now, it's a fancy term, but what it means is pretty simple, and it perfectly explains people like Madam Lin. It flips that old myth that says the older you get, the sicker you get. For the super old, the truth is actually the opposite. The older you get, the healthier you must have been.
But here's the twist. Here's the core paradox of this whole story. The very world that made Madam Lin so resilient, it's disappearing. And it's disappearing partly because of the incredible success that her generation helped create.
Just look at these numbers. The ground has completely shifted from under their feet. Back in 1970, you had more than 13 working adults to support every single senior citizen. By 2030, that number is expected to drop to just 2. That's an immense amount of pressure on families and on the state.
And it's not just about the ratio. The entire family support system is changing. Remember how Madam Lin had 11 children? That kind of big multi-generational family living together is becoming really rare. As you can see here, households are shrinking, and the number of people living all by themselves has more than doubled since the 90s.
And that has real human consequences. We're talking about an estimated 83,000 seniors in Singapore living completely on their own by 2030. That dramatically increases the risk of social isolation. So what does Singapore do? It does what it does best. It tries to engineer solutions. It's upgrading buildings, creating community centers just like the one Madam Lin goes to, providing financial help, and launching huge national health programs to increase not just lifespan, but health span, which is the number of years you live in good health.
And that brings us right back to the Mahjong game. Her life really is like a game, isn't it? It's a combination of the hand you're dealt, and she was dealt a tough one, born into a colonial era, the skill you play that hand with, and of course, a little bit of luck.
But this is the final powerful point to all of this. The social structures that supported her so naturally, this huge family, a life of constant movement, those things have now become luxuries for younger generations who are dealing with a world of small families and incredible work pressures.
And so that leaves us with this massive question, and it isn't just a question for Singapore, it's for all of us. When that organic social fabric of the past is gone, how do you engineer a replacement? How do you build community, purpose, and resilience for the generations that are coming up next?